So at Sandler, we talk a lot about okayness and not okayness, and that people get to feel either okay about themselves or not okay about themselves at any given moment. And quite frankly, what's interesting about it is that it has a lot to do with those around you. You can feel okay one moment and not so okay another moment. And we're all striving for okayness. And part of our jobs as salespeople and managers is to keep the people who report to us and keep our clients and our prospects feeling okay about themselves. And there are really just a few ways to do that. One is you do things to raise their okayness, to make them feel better about themselves. Those are the strokes, the compliments, the verbal caresses, and telling them that they ask me a question in my world, and I'll say, geez, you know a lot about that, so that's pretty good, and I'll tell them how smart they are, and it gives them a stroke, and they feel good about themselves. Next way to do it is to say and do things to reduce their not okayness. Someone says, I'm really having trouble with this, I'm struggling with this, I'm not doing a good job with it. I say, hold on, you haven't been doing it for very long, you're not supposed to be good at it yet. And I reduce their not okayness. Had an interesting one recently. A client of mine in the insurance business, he had someone call him up and tell him that his house had burned down and his brand new Ferrari was in the garage. And he said in the old days he would have started laughing and would have like held the phone to his a little bit aside and said, "Hey Joe, wait till you hear about this one." And instead, what he did was he said to his client, "Listen, it happens all the time. I had someone just last month that had two new cars in their garage. It happens. Don't worry. We'll take care of it." And he reduced the guy's not okayness. The third way is the one that's a little difficult to get, but once you figure it out, it really is magical. And that is sometimes we have to be just a little bit not okay on purpose. Kind of like Columbo, if you remember the old Columbo shows, except I don't want you to look stupid, and I don't want you to have the rumpled raincoat. The magic word is to struggle. Nobody likes the person who knows all the answers. Every one of us in our business, our prospects ask us some certain questions that we've heard 10,000 times, and before they even finish the question, we're starting to answer it. And what they're thinking to themselves is, I just asked the stupid question that everybody asks. Better is they ask you that question, and you go, let me think about that for a second. It's a good question. I think this is how I would answer it. And then answer the question. Just struggle that little bit makes them feel better about themselves. And what David Sandler told me many, many years ago is that you will never, ever lose a client over price. But you will lose a client because you forgot to take them out every once in a while to tell them you appreciate the relationship as much as the business, which was the super stroke to make them feel really okay.